Hey guys, welcome back to Starcastic Remarks, and alongside Chris. I've been waiting so long to use that.
What the heck was that?
My name is Ryan, and we are the official Dallas Stars podcast of THPN. Thank you guys so much for tuning in live with us here today. This is our first AGR of the season since the first home game of the season. Since we missed Sunday, it's been a crazy couple of days. Dallas Stars do get the win tonight, 1-0 over the Washington Capitals, and is their first 1-0 win since a win against St. Louis back in April of 2023. We have got the game to get to, Chris. Like it seemed like news item after news item
All
was
of the
dropping.
news happened.
Yeah, like just in the afternoon, evening, nothing in the morning, but everything then. So we're going to have no problem filling an hour's worth of time here today. But before we get started, we do want to say thank you to our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. As always, that promo code there is THPN. Once again, words are hard. That promo code is THPN. And yes, Chris, I'll let you talk now, but I've been waiting to use that little sound here. Just to describe you. It was great. I loved your reaction.
That feels like a hate crime. I hated it. So
but hey, you gotta admit it was pretty funny though. It got you smiling.
No. Anger.
No, you're such a liar. We need to rewind the tape a little bit and watch you. But anyways, I don't even know where to start with this game here today. The Stars to get the 1-0 win. Overall initial thoughts from the win today.
Yeah, I probably have a weird reaction that most people wouldn't expect on this one. I think this was a great bad game by the Stars. I mean, they're in a weird situation. They're playing 11-7. Everyone's hurt. Two of their top two centers are both injured and can't go tonight. So it's a tough situation for them, and they find a way to gut out the win. Obviously, Oettinger is the big star there, but when you go back and look, even in that stretch where the Capitals were really dominating, they talked about over 20 minutes since the Stars got a shot. How many high danger chances did the Caps have in those 20 minutes? I don't think they had very many. So obviously, the Stars didn't have their game tonight, but you can play defense. You don't need to have it to play solid defense, and that's what they did. I thought it was a really good defensive game. Obviously, you can't play like that and win most nights, but they found a way to do it tonight, and that's the important part.
It was like a perfect road win at home.
Right.
I mean, you rely upon your goaltender, you get some good D work out of your forwards and your defensemen. And yeah, your goalie is your best player. And maybe the first star of the night belongs to the posts and the crossbars of Jake Oettinger tonight, because they came up clutch like 3 separate times here today. So are you saying that the Stars escaped with this one, or do you think they deserved the win based off of how they played defensively?
Yeah, I wouldn't say deserved or escaped. I mean, they played well defensively. Yeah, they played well defensively. It's not like they stole this hockey game, but if I had to pick who played the better game overall, yeah, sure, I'd say the Capitals. If that's what you mean, sure, they stole it. But it's not a brutal steal that it's not like Stuart Skinner stealing Game 6 2 years ago. So
good Lord,
not quite that bad.
We don't talk about that.
Just like we don't 2 years ago now. I feel better. I'm just not talking about last year's now.
You just had to say something, didn't you?
I did.
Thanks. Well, anyways, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Chris. Like, I think a lot of people will be surprised with how both you and I react, because I think we're actually agreeing on this. I
must be wrong then.
Yeah, that's the right reaction. The way they went about their business today was good. I don't want to see them continuing that moving forward. Right. They were on their back foot for a good majority of the game. And honestly, what I really, really liked, and what I've really liked in this current 3-game winning streak, is how the Stars have taken care of business in third periods, especially in third periods. The last 3 games have been excellent. And today was different than the previous 2. In the third period, they tightened down more defensively. There were still, opportunities for Washington because Washington's a very good team. There's a reason why they're one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. But the second period was way too far open, in my opinion.
Right.
It wasn't quite full blown on panic, but there was definitely a twinge of anxiety there from at least from me, and I could feel it. But it never got full blown panic, but it was starting to head that way. And then the Stars got out of the second period. I didn't feel that way in the third. And it was just the calm composure of the Stars defense from both their forwards and their defensemen. And they took care of business in a game that, probably they didn't deserve to win. I'd be interested to see what the deserve to win-o-meter from Money Puck says about tonight's game.
Yeah, it's very slanted. It's 70-30, but not bad for a game when you had a 20-minute stretch with no shots.
Agreed.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that's what we're both saying. It's like not bad. When you're this injured, this depleted, and
lots of games,
you're on your
in a
fourth
short period
game
of time,
or your third game in 4 nights, like that's a good win. It's good to find a way to win. And this is even in the first 3 games when the Stars were scoring more and winning games. They were finding ways to win, and that's what I complimented most. And they're doing it now just with defense instead of offense because all their players are hurt. So I think that's really a sign of a good team is that they can win in any way.
There's lots of individual players that I want to kind of pick out tonight, and it's not the normal ones you would expect. We've seen a lot in the last, what game are we on?
10.
That was game 10. So yeah, the first 9 games of the season, we definitely saw a more focus towards like the top guys. So Rantanen, Wyatt Johnston, Robertson, Harley, getting all the points and stuff like that. And we've been able to rely upon that for the most part through the first 10 games of the regular season. Tonight was a bit different because I think there were a couple of players that really stood out on the defensive side. And I'll go ahead and bring up IDK's comment here because this is where I was headed. I really liked Sam Steele's game tonight. And he had a couple of turnovers and a few mistakes penalty wise that I will admit was there, but he always seemed to be in the right place at the right time here tonight and in a very defensive game. This is where, his style of game kind of really shines through a lot in a game like this. That's just my personal opinion.
You're right. This is one of Sam Steele's best games he's played on the season. And here's where my problem is with Sam Steele is that he can play such a great game like this. He plays such a great game like this. He has so many opportunities. And guess how many shots on goal he had for the entire game?
I guess 1.
0.
Really?
Not 1. And
that's crazy because he had like 2 or 3 chances.
Exactly. And that's my problem. Everything about Sam Steele is great. His hustle, his battle on boards, his defending, even in the offensive zone, he's finding the right place. He's in the right spots. Even the circle around the zone. That was the right thing to do at that moment was to keep the puck and to let reinforcements come in. He's doing everything right. He can't score. And this is not new knowledge. This is based on his past experience. Has he ever scored more than 10 goals in a year? I don't think so. I think that was James's stat. And
no,
he's great.
Once.
He should be an amazing hockey player. He should be able to get 20 goals easily when you just watch him play and you take off the name and number. But for whatever reason, he cannot finish.
Well, he's not finished. He's Canadian, so that's unfortunate for him. But wow, I can't believe you actually laughed at one of my jokes. The deal with Sam Steele, and James is not here to complain about it even further, but I don't know if you listened to our last episode, Chris, but James just went on and on and on.
Me and James have been on that for a while.
I was trying to keep this straight line and trying to follow my outline to the best of my ability. And then James just left turn and another right turn straight back to the whole Steele on the top line thing.
Right.
And I understand both. I understand both. I understand why he's up there, because you kind of want to have a little bit more depth throughout the lineup, especially in a depleted lineup where the Stars are at right now. They have no
Right.
Jamie Benn. They're without their quote unquote top 2 centers. I still think Wyatt Johnson is our best
Right.
center. But like the deal is that he is doing a fine job with what he's being asked to do. He is not a top 6 forward. He's being asked to play a top 6 role, and he's doing a fine job. He's not doing
Right.
a fantastic job. He's not doing a terrible job. He's fine. He's perfectly capable.
I agree if it's when we're injured, but to start the season, he was there too, and it was still getting tons of ice time. And to even back him up further, that line with Sam Steele on it, that's the line with the most expected goals for the Stars. Like every stat, go look at any stat. When Sam Steele is on the top line, that's the best Stars line. And
Even
every
with Wyatt
stat backs
Johnson
it
on the
up,
line.
except for goals. Like that's the only thing that line can't do when Sam Steele is on it. They can do everything else great except scoring. And we talked about like that's why Jason Robertson is such a high prize, because I mean you look at him and you don't see anything fantastic happening, but the guy can score. Like he knows how to do that. Like if you took that part of Jason Robertson's game and put it into Sam Steele, you've got a top 10 player in the NHL.
I want to jump back to the defense a little bit since we are talking about Sam Steele, and that's more of his style of game. But the stat I want to point out tonight is the Stars' goals against average in the last 4 games. And specifically here tonight, obviously, they don't give up any. The previous 2, they give up, 2 goals each? And then the game before, they also give up, I think it was 3 or 4 in that one. And something that Glenn Golitzson kind of pointed out, it was either yesterday or the day before, Chris, is that he feels like they're finally starting to get the system that he wants them to play.
Right.
And this tonight shows 100% exactly what he believes in. At least for the short term, for the 3-game win streak, it confirms his suspicions that they're really starting to lean in and buy into the system that goalie is trying to get them to play.
Right. And it feels much more comfortable than it did prior, even in the first 3-game win streak and in the 3-game losing streak afterwards. It feels like they really understand what's going on with it now. They're very comfortable in it. There's not as much thinking, so they can just go and do it. Like I was saying before, and that's just going to keep getting better, and it's going to be easier to exit the zone once they do get the puck off of defense and are able to quickly transition rather than having to skate it to the boards, figure out where to go and all that stuff. So that's only going to get better, and it's already looking really good. And yeah, at least in regulation, the Stars haven't allowed more than 2 goals in the past 4 games. So
yes,
when we got offensive guys hurt, that is a great adjustment to make, and they've made it and done really well at it.
Yeah, and let's point this out too. I think a big reason for the Stars' success right now is, despite them having a lot of issues at the center position right now with people being hurt, and especially faceoffs. I mean, Jamie Benn is one of the best faceoff guys in the league, has been for several years. Like, we got to give Tyler Seguin a lot of credit here for the last week or so. I personally have loved the way that he has played. He has kind of by necessity a little bit been thrown back into the center, and he doesn't look like full on blown on vintage Tyler Seguin when he and Jamie Benn were kind of tearing the league apart with getting 2 to 3 points every single night. But he is playing very, very, very well, and I love to see what he's been doing for the Stars the last 3-4 games.
Yeah, it's been great. It definitely looks kind of like a light version of old Tyler Seguin, like a little bit of that is coming back. And
His
he looked
skating
really
is
great
so
tonight.
much better.
It sucks that the goal that went in was a fluke that was deflected in, because he had so many other chances before that. But he deserved it of any Stars player tonight. He was the best on the offensive side of the puck for sure. So yeah, really good for him. It's great for him to be able to step up, and that's what the center depth does for you. Like when Jim Nill came into the Stars first, we had no centers. I think we had 2. And that was a huge problem. The immediate fix was Tyler Seguin at that time. And now you look at how he's built the team, and now every line has at least 2 centers. So it shows you really how important that role is. And if your forward group is all centers, that's just fine, maybe preferable.
Well, and the crazier thing is when you look around the league, there are a crud ton of teams who are looking for second line centers.
Because
Like,
Dallas has them all.
yeah, exactly. Like Wyatt Johnston is our quote unquote third line center when he's arguably our best center
Well,
out of the three.
and you got Tyler
And
Seguin playing wing and Jamie Benn playing wing, and like
the
Oscar
and
Beck, Radek Fox, and Sam Steele. Like these are all guys,
that
depending
can
on the
play
quality
center.
of team, obviously, could be second line centers.
And that's a ton of credit. And even ESPN gave Jim No credit for that, not specifically with the center depth, but coming in and building a really good team. And that's an underrated aspect, an underappreciated aspect that I think does need to be pointed out. Because the one thing I was not trying to interrupt you, but Sagan's play is specifically with his skating. Like ever since he's had that hip issue, and I think he's had double hip surgery now, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly. Like it has taken him a good 2 years to be able to skate fully the way that I think he used to. And I think this is the best I've seen him skating in the last 3 or 4 years. I'm sure he feels great, and that's just a an eye test kind of thing. I wish I can get the chance to ask him, but
I, I'm sure
he looks
after
fantastic.
I'm sure after all he's gone through, he doesn't feel great. But yes, I know what you mean. He's
It's a
playing
relative term.
right, great compared to not being able to walk for 3 months. But yeah, I agree. He looks comfortable out there. He looks like he's got a little bit more speed than he did even in the beginning of last year when he was on such a great run to start that season. So yeah, I agree.
Okay, not trying to throw a little bit of darkness on all of this, but I think this does need to be brought up since we are talking about center depth. So we obviously Duchesne and oh my gosh, brain fart.
Lupe?
Hence, thank you. They both continue to be out. They're listed as day to day, and it seems like it's going to be a little bit longer than day to day. It seems like they're going to be out for maybe a week. And in Duchesne's case, he played one game and then hasn't returned
Right.
back.
That's scarier.
And that is scary. But you know who else also has done that is Oscar Beck. And
Yep.
Oscar Beck played in the last game on Sunday and he scored a goal. He's a goal per game guy right now. But are you worried about the center depth for the Dallas Stars? I know that it's okay to be optimistic about it right now in light of a 3-game win streak after a 4-game, pointless drought. But I am still very concerned about the depth of the centers, just because 3 of them, 3 really big important ones, are all hurt.
Well, it just hurts you offensively, like has been shown the past 4 games. I mean, the Stars have only given up 2 goals in regulation each of the last 4, but they also haven't scored more than 3. So it's a tough way to live, but when you get bit by the injury bug, the name of the game is find points, and they've been doing that really well, and they got to keep doing that.
And maybe that's why they leaned into this a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
The style of game that they played. Just look at who you got, and you're not necessarily going to get a whole bunch of goals every single time. So take what you got and don't throw a fit. All right. Another underrated aspect of this game that needs to be talked about that was kind of going on a cold streak for a little while and then is kind of just roared back is the special teams in the last 3 games. Special teams has been very good, especially the power play. The Stars are currently, I believe, I looked this up yesterday. I don't know if it's changed. They are currently first in the NHL in terms of power play percentage. So I mean, you can't complain about it. You can't. And the one goal they got tonight, and yes, it was a bounce off of a stick, off of a Faravari, but still, it was a puck thrown towards the net, looking for a guy on the back door, and it goes in, and they get another goal on the power play. That the Stars have been able to be very opportunistic on the power play, and this is a perfect game to be opportunistic on the power play when you know you're not going to be scoring a whole bunch of goals and you're leaning into the defensive side of your game.
Yep, they're third now, 32.3%, but
That's
that
nuts.
jumps around a lot since it's early season. But yeah, that's a really high power play percentage. That's been the most consistent part of their game, even through the losing streak that they had in the middle there. So that's been doing really well. But the PK coming around, we kind of knew that would happen, and it's on its way, and it's gonna keep rolling. I don't think any of us were really worried about it. I mean, we were frustrated that it wasn't working early in the season, but we knew that was gonna self-correct as the season went along, and it's looking like it is already heading that direction.
I do want to point back to that episode me and James did, because I was definitely more the prototypical emotional Stars fan, as I always am. But the conference, the press conference that goalie had, and we even played a good chunk of it on the podcast and reacted to it and stuff like that. That really brought me back down to earth, and it chilled me out. And since then, everything that he said about, eventually that it's going to come around, it came a lot quicker around than I expected it to, and it's, at least for now, starting to show fruition. So I know we're talking about the power play and Otter and the defensive structure and all that sort of stuff. Goalie deserves a lot of credit for the success of the last 3 games too. I wanted to throw that out there too. Okay, there was one other thing I wanted to point out, and I've already forgotten. So I'll open it up to the floor. Is there anything that I have not mentioned that you would like to talk about?
Nope, got to find more offense somehow, even without some top offensive players. It'll be interesting to see if they are going to have to call up a forward from Texas. I don't really know who they would right now. Huru's injured actually, so they don't really have
so he's officially
go-to.
injured.
It might be like a Hughes or a Lind or something. Those guys are more solid AHL players. Like that's pretty much what the market has decided the ceiling is at. But they're really gritty, tough guys who you could slot in pretty easily in a fourth line situation, which the Stars kind of have 2 of right now. So that would work. Yeah, we'll see what they have to do.
Could it be something where the Stars look at waivers?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
Well, fair enough.
I think Hughes and Lind are perfectly capable of filling in.
True. I would, and I know that you shouldn't care, because what really matters is the success of the top club. But the AHL club has really been struggling this year a lot.
Yeah, they have not won a game yet. They are 0-6. Well, they're 0-5-1. But yeah, it's been rough. Go read about that 100degreehockey.com. There is several articles on it, because it is shocking.
Okay, this is what I wanted to give. So I talked about Sam Steele quite a bit because I loved his game tonight. I'll keep bringing praises to this guy just because I think the expectations were not there at all for this player, because nobody had him on their radar. But I really think that Adam Ernie, like, my gosh, the guy has made an impact on the game and on the Stars. And I mean, can you imagine this team without the depth of Adam Ernie and how he's played? And I'm not saying that he's like fantastically, on either side of the puck, really. But there were several times in the game tonight, just kind of looking back at my game notes, where I mentioned his name, and there's a big hit by Ernie in the O-zone during the second period. Ernie is fitting really well into goalie system literally halfway through the second period before Washington really started to get going down. And then Ernie also had a scoring chance, and maybe he's like a Sam Steele 2.0, where he gets scoring chances but can never put it behind the goalie.
Well, no, because Ernie got 2 shots on goal and Sam Steele got none. So
neither one of them scored. But then again, nobody scored tonight, really, other than Faravari on his own net. Yeah. So go figure. But that's a guy that I think needs to be praised a little bit more, because he comes out of nowhere. He's on a PTO. no one expects him to, even gives him like a second thought. I didn't give him a second thought. I knew he was kind of a veteran guy who's kind of been around the league a little bit and used to play for the Devils and stuff like that. But he has been very, very, very good for the Dallas Stars team, and especially going 11-7 tonight. I think he was fantastic.
Yep, that's definitely, to me, that's just like good for Adam Ernie. I mean, like you said, there's not much of a chance. And when you look at it from the start of camp, you're like, why is this guy even trying on this kind of roster? Like it's so stacked. It's a set roster. We know what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, injury bug hits. He's signed. It gets worse. He's in a bigger role even than just the extra forward on the team. So, I mean, good for that guy taking advantage of this kind of opportunity. So even if the Stars do end up having to try and send him down to the AHL later, I mean, there's a good chance he gets claimed as an extra forward for another team too. So good for him to stay in the league that way.
I really hope not, because he's been really good. I love watching him play. It's not like he does anything flashy or anything like that. He just does a lot of good things really, really well.
Yep.
And
solid fourth line player. That's what we paid for, and that's exactly what he is.
Or in this case, a winger on Tyler Seguin's line.
Right.
Because we ain't got nothing else right now. I mean, Blackwell, him, and Seguin. Like, oh man. Ugh. Okay. So I mean, were you really worried about the whole no shots in 23 minutes thing?
Yes.
Normally I would be worried about it, but I think I understood the way that the Stars were going to try and win this game tonight.
Right. The game was definitely not going their way, but they found a way to overcome that fact. Like that's the impressive part to me. To sum up once again.
Okay, fair. Anything else?
Nope, not except for the big news.
Well, let's do a biggest winner, biggest loser since we're here, because we never really get to do it anymore since we don't do a ton of AGRs anymore. Who you got for a biggest winner, biggest loser?
Jake Oettinger. Shutout, played really well, stopped all the pucks he had to. He knew those three were going to hit the post. You don't have to save those, so he let them go. That's exactly what he did.
I'll give it to Tyler Seguin for the scoring accidentally. That's 3 goals out of the last 4 of the Stars have accidentally scored. So go figure. That's my biggest winner. My biggest loser, and this is something that's not really affected by the game, like on the ice. But screw you, ESPN. Like they're the biggest losers tonight. Like I understand the whole frozen frenzy thing. That actually is kind of cool. I like the idea of all 32 teams playing just for the heck of it and all that. Why are you trying to put this up against Game 4 of the World Series? Like, why not try this on a different day? Maybe even later in the season?
Right. Or why are we doing it on a weekday at all?
Right. Well, but the thing is that you can't compete with football, whether it's college or professional, over the weekend.
You're gonna have hockey games on weekends. So if you're gonna do the frozen frenzy thing, at least put it there so your diehard hockey fans can actually watch more than one game.
or like a national holiday. Excuse me, trying not to yawn. Or like a national holiday or something like that. Like how,
right?
Like I mean, like football's got Thanksgiving and the NBA's got Christmas Day and stuff like that. Like, and I'm sure they've considered that, but they need to do something a little bit better in terms of scheduling for a big thing like this. Because I want to see this continue. I do. I think this is a fantastic idea.
I am officially pro Frozen Frenzy.
Yes.
But I am pro being able to actually watch the Frozen Frenzy. Whereas tonight, I got to watch the Stars, which is great, but I get to watch nothing else.
Like, I wouldn't mind this being on, like, Thanksgiving.
Huh?
Seeing Frozen Frenzy on Thanksgiving rather than on, like, a random weekday like this.
For football. It's a tradition.
I know.
What about Black Friday? Frozen Frenzy Black Friday.
There you go. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. I kind of like that. Black Friday.
Cyber Monday, Frozen Frenzy.
Well, hey, that would work for Amazon
Cyber
Prime.
Frenzy.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, there you go. Put all the
There
games
you
on
go.
Amazon. Cyber Frenzy.
See, we figured it out. There you go. Amazon Prime. You're gonna do the whole Frozen Frenzy thing, and you're gonna make it on Cyber Monday.
You're welcome, Gary.
We figured it out for you, Gary. Congratulations. Okay, and then the other thing about ESPN is like we missed the first 10 minutes of the game. Like I get it. You're doing this, and it doesn't really happen all that much, but like I hated the fact that, and that was the other thing, that the Pittsburgh Philly game just kept extending and extending and extending for stupid reasons. Like there were 2 goals called back. There was the little kerfuffle at the end of the overtime where people got penalties, so that made them ineligible to be in the shootout, and blah 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 blah. And they had to figure out all that stuff, and it took forever. It was annoying, absolutely annoying. I'm over it, but still, clearly. ESPN is the biggest loser. I'm over it.
I'm gonna keep tooting my horn. It's Sam Steele. To play that great, have no shots on goal. It's so frustrating. Like, he should be so good.
Like biggest loser, and not in the most positive way possible. Yes. I guess, right? Yes. I don't know another way to put it, but that makes a lot of sense. I understand the
biggest loser ever.
Yes, I do want to see him get more though. Okay, we got like a whole nother 25 minutes to go. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get through everything, but we're going to talk about it for sure. Everything happening all at once. Let's start with the Harley extension, because I think that's a little bit more relevant than everything else,
and more happy.
Elliot Friedman reported about, I don't know, it was around 7:00, I think, 6 something, somewhere around there, and he reported on X that Harley was looking at a $10.5 million per year extension, and maybe a tad over 10.5 for 8 years. And Chris was talking to our mother dearest during this time when I informed him of the news, and Chris did not like that because he knew that I was right. And I told you that they were not going to get Harley for under 10 million. And it has not, we should also point out, it has not been officially confirmed by the team, but there are very reliable sources out there, including Frank Saravalli, including Darren Drager, the big insiders of the game. It's pretty much a done deal. It's just, waiting for pen to paper at this point.
Right. And I would like to say I made that guess prior to Kaprizov, I believe. So
fair.
Yeah, that big difference. But still, I think 10.5 in hindsight, after seeing all those deals go through, is really good work. I think it is. And to get him locked down for the 8 years as well, I mean, and that's going to go away probably in the next CBA. That the max is going to be 7. So I think that's really good work for the Stars. I think it was clear. If you had to pick between Robo or Harley, who would you pick? I think the clear choice there was going to be Harley, just because of
he's a defenseman.
The position he plays is the main thing. You only have 6 defensemen on the bench, and you have a lot more forwards, and he can eat more ice time and be solid defensively and add something to your offensive side. Whereas Robertson is one-dimensional. His one dimension is the hardest thing to do in the sport, which is score goals, but it is still the case. And with the 10.5, you're still likely going to have a really great deal to offer Robertson. And I think he's very likely to stay on. Now, worst case scenario, you say he doesn't sign any offer that he gets this year. So he's holding out. He wants Kaprizov money. He's not taking less than, let's say, 14 million. He wants 15 or something like that. You can still actually make that work. It's a lot tougher. You have to go through. He has 1 year of RFA left, so you can give him the qualifying offer. He likely goes through arbitration, gets a little bit more than what his qualifying offer is. But then you have a good price for at least 1 more year. Then at the end of that year, Sagan's contract comes off the book. That's $9 million. He's probably going to drop at least $5 million, and there you go. There's the rest of the money you need to pay Robo. So I think it really sets you up really well to be able to pay Jason Robertson the money that he needs. And yeah, I think the math makes sense. And Jim Nill is better at this than I am. So if I see the path, I'm sure Nill saw the path 6 months ago.
I think that once, and this is the player that immediately popped into my head when I heard about Harley's extension, Bouchard.
Right.
As soon as Evan Bouchard signed for 10.5, I immediately knew it was around that number, and that his agent and whoever else was going to be using that as a similar comp for Thomas Harley. And honestly, I think that Thomas Harley is worth more than Evan Bouchard. I understand
Yes,
Bouchard
I
probably
agree.
does a little bit more for his team than maybe Harley does for his team, because we have Amira Heiskanen and the Oilers don't. But he's
better than Bouchard. Period.
I agree, especially on the defensive side. There's no question in my mind that he is a better defensive defenseman than Evan Bouchard. And anyone that disagrees with me is crazy. Now, on the offensive side, I would probably say that Bouchard is probably better.
Right, but only slightly. And
only
Harley is
slightly.
way better defensively.
Yes, agreed. And that's why I think that makes Harley much more of value to a team than Bouchard.
Agreed.
Are you worried that this is a little bit of an overpay, or do you think that with where this contract is, it's going to look better and better and better and better every single year?
Right.
We hope, if he can continue this play. I mean, a lot of people have to understand that Thomas Harley is still only 24. So this is going to take him all the way until around Esa Lindell's age. Esa Lindell is 31 years old right now. Harley will be 32, around that age, by the end of this contract. I think that takes him through his best years and through his prime. And I don't see a bad thing for this contract unless Harley all of a sudden just falls off the face of the planet, which he hasn't done. He's been very consistent for the last 2 to 3 years. And he's actually had a coming out party this past year.
Yeah, since it's an 8-year deal, I mean, really he's slightly above market value right now, I guess you'd say. But I think in 3 years, he's already going to be underpaid, is what it's going to be. And by year 8, it's going to look like a steal. So I think this is a really great deal. And yeah, that's the type of player you need to lock down and make sure he stays a star as long as possible.
Now, we don't know all of the exact details of the contract. From what I've seen and from what I've heard, I believe that he has a no movement clause when he becomes a quote unquote free agent, unrestricted free agent. There's no confirmation on that yet, but I mean, honestly, that's just something that you give a player of his caliber, just to say, hey, we appreciate you and we're giving you this power because we don't think you're going anywhere anyways.
Right. It'd be pretty unthinkable to have him be moved.
Correct. So, okay, excuse me. So now we talked about this over the off season again, but and you very briefly mentioned it, but now all the attention, at least for Stars fans and for lots of people across the hockey world, is what is Jason Robertson going to sign for? If Harley is worth that 10.5, a lot of people are going to argue, especially those that don't watch the Stars all the time, that he's worth 13 to 14 million.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think he definitely could be if he wants that money. I think there's definitely an argument he can make for that. And someone will pay him that, truly. If he actually goes to market, I think someone would pay him $14 million. And it'll just depend on what he wants to do. I mean, last time we saw him, wait until the very last minute of his RFA to try and scrape as much as possible. And even still, we thought that it was a great deal for Robertson when he signed.
We were talking at over 10 million at the time too, right?
Yeah. So I think we likely see the same kind of thing. He's going to hold out as long as possible to get the best deal he can. But I think in the end, he wants to get the best deal he can as a Dallas Star more than anything else. So it's going to be a tough negotiating process. I mean, there's been like the leaks about how the front office didn't really love how that whole process went last time, but it's worth it for a player like that. And I think Robertson is willing to go through that with just one team because he wants to be in Dallas as well. So, obviously, that'll depend. It's tough to, or it's easy from my side to say that he should give up potentially $2 million to stay at the 12 million area with Rantanen. But yeah, we'll see what he does. And whatever he does, it won't happen until much later, is what I'm saying.
Do you think he is at like another bridge deal, or do you think he's looking for a 8-year deal before the new CBA years, kind of lock in?
Yeah, I don't know. He was pretty aggressive with his last contract, just in it being a shorter term, because that was definitely an opportunity for him to lock down a long-term deal if he wanted to. But he kind of bets on himself there. He's seen himself have a 100-point season. I mean, if he does that in a contract year, you get an even bigger payday. So he might risk it to try and get something like that. So it'll depend.
The argument is that if you're looking for the biggest payout, and you know for 100% fact that you're going to be consistent throughout your career, then you take like 3 to 4 year deals, and that maximizes your ability to make as much money as possible
theoretically.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know that you're going to be healthy throughout your entire career. Nobody knows that. But for maximizing profits, for trying to get the most money possible, that is what you do.
Yeah.
Now,
it allows you to keep up with how the salary cap grows.
Correct. That's the point. But what Harley is doing here is he's like, I'm getting guaranteed over $80 million over the next 8 years of my life. Like, that's guaranteed money. He's put pen to paper. By the way, that it is officially, it's officially official. The Stars posted it on X about it 27 minutes ago.
Nice.
And it is 8 years at 10.587. So that's exactly what the insiders were saying. So anyways, that's great to hear. But with Robo, I really don't know what it's going to look like, because it depends on how hardball he's willing to play, because he could be like, well, I did you guys a favor last time and signed a 4-year bridge deal for 7 3/4. Now it's time for me to kind of get my money in what I'm worth, which is a point per game player. And if you look at like a point per game player, I mean, one of the guys that comes to mind for me is Kyle Connor in Winnipeg. I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that he uses that contract that Kyle Connor signed as, kind of a comp, and it's $12 million over 8 years, and it's got a full no movement clause and all of that stuff. So
12 million would be no problem for Dallas, I would say. I think they would love 12 million, and that's probably where they're trying to stick firm at, is say, hey, take the same as Mikko, and you're our two superstar goal scorers.
Do you think he takes 8 years for 12 million?
I don't think he will. I think he's gonna need more.
12.5 to 13.
Yeah, I think that's where it'll land, but we'll see.
It is. A lot of people are saying, oh, well, he's not allowed to make more than Rantanen does. Well, Rantanen did, for some aspects, did have to kind of settle with the Stars, because he wasn't getting what he wanted with Colorado. And then Carolina also said no as well, even though he didn't really want to play in Carolina anyways. I just don't see how he gets paid less than Mikko Rantanen. I will be very surprised, especially with the cap the way that it's going, that he gets less than $12 million.
Right, and that's how you look at it. Like, if you're saying straight up, Robertson does not deserve more than Mikko Rantanen because Mikko Rantanen's a better hockey player. That I think that's true, and you're right. But that doesn't really matter for how much he's going to get paid. Like it's depending on what the market is now, what the salary cap is now, and yeah, it doesn't necessarily matter who's better unless they signed a contract around the same time. That's when you can make those comps. But Rantanen signing it last year during the trade deadline, I mean, that's not. I'm sure Jim Nill will sell that and say that's a comparable thing, but it's really not when you look at all the stuff that's happened this offseason. The market has clearly taken a shift up. That Mikko Rantanen deal is a steal right now at $12 million, and the Avalanche are hitting themselves in the face over and over again for not getting him what he clearly deserved. They misread the market badly. They're about to pay Natchez the same amount that they were gonna have to pay Rantanen.
I think you're right. And then the argument is, would you rather have Mikko Rantanen or would you rather have Marty Natchez?
And there's no argument there. That's it. That's
I tend to agree with you. I think Marty Natchez is a little younger now, if I remember correctly. I'll look that up.
About like 3 years.
Yeah. Let me see. Natchez is, where is he? Why can't I find him? Oh, he's 26.
Oh,
and Rantanen's 28.
Yep.
28. So 2-year difference, not a big deal. So, but anyways, it is going to be very interesting to see what Robertson gets and for how long. I hope it's around that 12 to 13 million for 8 years. That's my prediction. I think he gets 8 years, and I think he's going to want that.
I hope
that peace of mind, and as does most NHL hockey players. That most NHL players don't risk it and just take 3 to 4 year contracts.
Right. I do think that is the Otter thing to do.
Mm-hmm. The Otter thing to do.
All right, last 10 minutes. Let's talk about the Mavericks.
Why are we talking about the Oh, wait. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I know exactly where we're going with this. Okay. I had to do a little bit of digging on this because this has been kind of under wraps for a while. But the Dallas Mavericks and the Dallas Stars have some beef going on. And particularly with the feud between the American Airlines Center. And long story short, I'll try to dumb it down as best as possible. And because I believe the Stars are in the wrong here. And let me explain here. Okay. Now, fans are not going to feel that way because obviously they're not going to. Because we're a Stars podcast, so there's going to be more Stars fans listening to this than the Mavericks. The Mavericks and the Stars are supposed to be in a joint relationship with the upkeep and the upgrading of the building. Long story short, and
American Airlines Center.
Yes, correct. Of the American Airlines Center,
not some office building.
Yes, correct. And what the Mavericks are saying is that the Stars are not upholding their end of the bargain and doing so. So what they have done is they have taken full ownership of the contract at the American Airlines Center, and they're keeping all of the revenue that is coming from the American Airlines Center in certain aspects. So
holding it. They're not just taking it.
Yes.
They're holding it, and it would be available to the Stars once they meet certain contractual obligations.
Now, this makes complete sense now with all of the stuff that we had been hearing about for the last couple of months in terms of the Stars looking for somewhere else to play.
Yes.
And ultimately, what I believe is that this is going to lead the Stars staying at the American Airlines Center and the Mavericks being somewhere else. I know that sounds crazy. That's just a prediction. But obviously, with all of the rumors that we've seen about the Dallas Stars looking in Plano and Arlington and all of these other places for places to play past their contract and their agreement with the Dallas Mavericks at American Airlines Center, this makes complete sense now why these rumors and stuff were coming out. Right. So what's your thoughts overall on all of this,
Well,
Chris?
first
'Cause
of all, you didn't
there's a
really
lot.
finish the story. So for the reason that they're claiming breach of contract is that the Stars moved their headquarters from Dallas to Frisco, where the Comerica Center is and where a lot of Dallas Stars practices are at. Apparently that was in the contract with the Mavs, the city of Dallas, and the American Airlines Center, that both teams would keep their headquarters in Dallas proper. Now, the problem with that is there's no way the Dallas Stars just did that and stuck their tongues out and said,
Nana nana boo
put the
boo.
contract against us. Like that's a big move to move your entire headquarters from one city to another. This was likely talked through and not put to paper, as you say, and likely before the Mavs new ownership group was put in, and it was fine between the previous partners of what was going on. Now the new ownership group is coming in. They trade Luka Doncic. They lose a ton of revenue, and they're trying to find it again. That's really what I think it is. So is Dallas technically, or are the Stars technically in breach of the contract? Probably yes. They probably also had a understanding or agreement with all parties on the contract prior to that it was going to be okay that they move their offices for X, Y, and Z reason. There's no way they just did that without at least talking about it with the other parties. So this is definitely, in my opinion, is pretty clearly greed from the Mavs ownership group trying to make up for some of the losses that they incurred due to a stupid business decision. So at the very least, what this is going to mean is the chance of the Mavs and the Stars being in the same building, as long as the Mavs ownership group stays the same, is basically zero. And I wholly disagree that the Stars are going to be staying in the American Airlines Center. I think it points directly to them moving to Plano. I don't think it's a bluff, especially with a lawsuit now even on their hands. They're going to want to avoid any possibility of this happening in the future, and they're going to want to own their own building. And that's pretty evident from what they've done here in Cedar Park. They own the HEB Center. They get tons of revenue off of that. They have their offices right in the arena, and it's a very good thing for that team to be able to control. And yeah, I think they're going to do the exact same thing with their pro team.
Well, what if they go about and they buy the American Airlines Center? Because some people have said that could be an option as well. They just full on offer whatever money, because again, it's a prime location, and if the Stars control it and they own the building, or I guess Tom Ghilardi owns the building, then who? I mean, there's so many big names that runs through the American Airlines Center every single year, in terms of concerts and other sporting events that happen there, and maybe that's something that he's looking into.
You incur so much more risk doing that because you have to rely on those outside venues like you're talking about with concerts and stuff like that to make up for the extra revenue that you're spending on the building. So that is a much riskier thing to do than it would be to build your own building somewhere else in a place that's less expensive to build on. Because, I mean, first, to get the building is going to be astronomically expensive. I don't even know if that'd be possible based off how Dallas subsidized it. I mean, how would that even work? That's a whole nother thing that you'd have to work through. So there's a lot less risk, a lot more ease in building your own place somewhere else.
And this is the last part. The last part of the news that came out today. It's kind of connected to this, but the Willow Bend Mall area is apparently where they're looking. That is true. That is in Plano. Now, the one thing that is interesting to me, Chris, is the price tag on it. Now, I know it's going to sound crazy when I say this, but $1 billion for an arena sounds a little cheap, especially nowadays, considering all of these other arenas that we're seeing. Because and this is not my own idea, by the way. I'm stealing this idea from a Stars group chat that I'm a part of. But what this one person said, and I don't want to name him here because I didn't ask him for his opinion, but or for his permission to use his name, I should say. But like the UBS Arena, for example, which is what the Islanders play out of, it was 1.1 billion 4 years ago, and that just continues to climb. And then the same thing for Climate Pledge Arena was 1.15 billion when it was opened in 2021. So that I don't want to say that it feels a little cheap or a little light, but it feels that way a little bit, like especially with where that area is and how opulent that area is. Plano is an opulent area. All of Northeast Dallas is pretty opulent in certain spots. Okay, in certain spots, Chris. All right, I understand there's a rough area
I'm just
of
saying, compare that to
Plano.
Long Island or the Seattle metro area. That's a big difference. Like Plano is very suburban compared to those places.
And it seems there's a lot. It's really weird. This is like a side conversation that we could have about in the last couple minutes here. But it's like a lot of teams are not happy with where they're at, whether they're downtown or whether they're in the suburbs. So like Ottawa, for example, they're fixing to build a building downtown Ottawa. And right now they're 30 minutes outside of Ottawa where their current building is. And then like the Atlanta group that's trying to get a team there, one of the Atlanta groups is actually trying to build it in a suburb of Atlanta.
Right.
And now it looks like the Stars are kind of starting to follow suit in that same idea and actually playing in a suburb of their main city rather than the actual town itself.
Yeah, and just before we wrap it up, I think it's a terrible idea to try and play in Dallas suburbs rather than in Dallas proper. Right now, it makes a lot of sense. The team is really good. You're gonna have people travel out there and fill up that building. It's not going to be a problem with how the team is playing right now. But with situations like Ottawa, that's when you pay the price for it, is when your team is bad. Like the Ottawa Senators, the capital of Canada, could not fill up their building for hockey, the national sport. I mean, that's their football, and they couldn't fill up the building in their capital. Like, that's what you're risking. It's when your team is bad, it's going to be a lot scarier of a revenue problem in Dallas if you actually put the team in Plano. And I just think that's a really bad idea. I think it takes a lot of culture out of Dallas as well. I think there's definitely a pulse and a vibe that you get when you're actually in downtown Dallas for those games. And I think that wouldn't be there for Plano. That'd make the games less exciting. I think it's just a really short-sighted idea that they would be able to capitalize on a lot more revenue in the short term. And in the long term, it can cost you the addition of fans. It can cost you the more predictable revenue, even when your team is bad. So yeah, I think it's a bad idea. I hope they don't do it. I hope it's a bluff and that they're going to stay in the AAC either way. But yeah, it's a bad idea. It's short-sighted like hockey does all the time, which really stinks for the Stars because they did the Victory Plus thing, which is definitely a long-term play. You know, get new fans, make it easier to watch so we can have new fans easily. And then they turn around and do something like this the other direction. It just doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
See, that's why I think this is a bluff. That
I hope
you
so.
You read my mind 100%. That is literally the reason why I think that this is just it's a negotiation tactic.
I think it makes perfect sense for them. They did it in Austin with the Texas Stars. They got their own building, their own spot. They control all of it. They love that. They do it with their practice center, Comerica Center. They have exactly what they want there. They have their offices there. They host U18s there. There's a lot more control, and they might just go ahead and do it with their top team too. And I mean, they're in trouble with their partners with the American Airlines Center, so I understand why they'd be upset and not wanting to do that. So yeah, I don't think it's a bluff. I'm very aware that they're going to be in Plano, and I would not like that. And to be clear, that would be closer to our parents' house, which is where we would stay most of the time when I'm up in Dallas. So it would be better for me for convenience wise, but I do not want that to happen.
And talk about Zach. Zach would love that. He'd probably be like, what, 10 minutes away from the building?
Yeah,
5
let's
minutes?
dox Zach. What's Zach's address?
At 1430. No, I'm just kidding. um, and the last thing, I'm sorry. Plano doesn't make a lot of sense, Chris, but Frisco does. If you're really truly looking for like a vibe type thing, like you were talking about, because Frisco, I'm not. I don't know if
There's not a
I
vibe
understand
in
that
Frisco.
people. No, there. Believe it or not, there is a vibe in Frisco right now, and I know that seems crazy to say that, but there is, in my personal opinion. And if you specifically look at SRT and DNT, so Sam Rayburn and Dallas North Tollway, the intersection of those two tollways in Frisco, it's starting to get its own freaking skyline in Frisco.
Yes, it's not it's not a major city though. Still, there's a big difference. It's a suburb of Dallas. That's what it is. It's a big suburb of Dallas. It's definitely like
Probably the biggest one.
the biggest suburb, and that's where all the growing is happening. But it's a suburb, and it's going to have that vibe no matter what. I feel like so you're not going to get the same kind of electricity being in Frisco as you are in Dallas.
No, I agree with you, but that's why I think if they were thinking outside the box and thinking, okay, we're going to go to the suburbs, Frisco makes more sense than Plano does.
Well, and that's the other reason to get to that $1 billion price tag right now is because Plano is cheaper to get land and to build in than Frisco would be.
But they're both still Collin County, which Collin County has one of the highest property tax rates in Texas right now.
I think you've got a big difference between Frisco and Plano. I think the building cost is drastically different there. And when you're talking about $1 billion project, like 1% is a ton.
Well, and the other thing about that though is if they are going to pull the trigger on a project like this, I think the contract is up in 2031 or 2032. Yes. I should have looked that up before getting on here. But if you're going to build a building and you're going to build a brand new arena, you got to give yourself about 3 to 4 years if you want to build it correctly. Like in reality, you could build a building in 2 years, but there would be some corners cut probably. And you don't want to do that if you're going to have a high quality product and a building for 30 to 40 years, right? So this is about the time a year from now that they're going to need to pull the trigger on something. So man, I really hope I'm right about this. And the more I think about it, the more it makes me worried that they really truly are going to move from the American Airlines Center. But yeah,
right. We gotta wrap this up. I gotta go to sleep.
Yeah, sorry. I could talk about this another, not 20 minutes, but maybe another 5 or 10 minutes. I'm getting tired too. It's been a long couple of days for me. Okay, Chris, you got anything else?
Nope.
All right, let's wrap it up here. Thank you guys for following along with us live. If you have been, there's even more of you who are listening afterwards. Once again, promo code is THPN. The next time you are there, please make sure that you are using that promo code THPN. Make sure if you are watching on YouTube, you click like, and subscribe words. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Starcastic Remarks. And if you're listening on the audio side, please leave us a 5-star review wherever your favorite podcast platform of choice may be. We'd really appreciate that. And as always, check out starcasticremarks.com. And we would really appreciate any kind of monetary help that you can give us by joining the Who Cares Club or by becoming a sponsor of this podcast. Alongside Chris, my name is Ryan. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. We hope you guys have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. Chris, want to take us out?
Oh, GG boys.